Alrighty then. Today we're going to talk about a what if. And by the way, before you're wondering, this is a requested what if, but I don't remember who requested it because I didn't save the comments. So your comment is now lost in space forever. Or you can just do your own little search for it and look for the comment yourself. But today we're going to talk about what would happen if Koichi played a role in Stone Ocean. Like, let's say he came back and he decided to return and help. How would Koichi being in Stone Ocean affect the part? Well, I'm going to talk about today, and let's hope I can do this request justice. So, everyone here watching, hope you enjoy this video. So, let's talk about how Koichi being in part 6 can happen. And there are sorry, I had to cough there. There are a lot of ways Koichi could have been in part 6. Well, for starters, how are the possibilities? Well, it's pretty easy. I think the first possibility is, well, the John Gallier and Whitesnake stuff. You could probably get Koichi somehow in there. Whether he goes with Jotaro or Jotaro just sits him instead. If he's sent in Jotaro's place, it's hard to say how he could have done. Jotaro only had like 2 seconds of time slot to my knowledge. Koichi's pretty good for the most part. And I don't know if Echo's Act 3 could have helped against them. It's likely what would have happened is Pucci and John Gale would either kill Koichi or just keep him there as another hostage. If they kill him, Stone Ocean just goes the same like in canon. And if they don't kill Koichi and they keep him as a hostage, Jotaro would probably go. Seeing that there's 3 people now, it's hard to say. Maybe they could have gone out faster. And this could technically segue to Jotaro taking Koichi with him. Assuming Koichi's somehow in that fight with Jotaro and Jolene, I don't really know if Koichi could get them out. He'd be helpful, granted, but to say that he would be able to get them to escape is hard to say. Whether he's able to prevent Jotaro from getting his disc stolen is not a guaranteed. It's a 50-50 there. I do think he could help out, though, and I don't think he would be useless. And to be fair, if the whole disc thing is happening, Koichi probably is going to stay with Jotaro and the Speedwagon Foundation and give Jolene updates with Koichi using echoes to help. And it's likely that part 6 would more or less go the same for a while. And then when Koichi can come back with Jotaro, Stone Ocean probably ends the same, but Koichi's also there. And I will talk about how Koichi can do in the final fight. If we go the route where Koichi actually helps Jolene, I don't really see what he can do. I do think he could be a helpful mentor, granted. The Stone Ocean group never really had that mentor figure. So I think giving them someone who can kind of be a mentor-like figure to them, kind of teaching them advice and to help them in stand battles, having that be Koichi could have been interesting. I mean, he did help the Diamond Unbreakable squad, and he did help a mafia boss in the long run becoming a mafia leader. I'm just saying, he definitely could have helped Jolene and friends get out of prison, and he could have gotten the disc back a lot quicker, maybe. And to be fair, he could have just delivered the memory disk with echoes. And if he did, then Weather Report likely doesn't die because, what was his name? Versus, that whole thing with him, since there's no memory disk around, that would technically mean that he would not have anything to use for Weather Report's disk. Since there's no memory disk to care about, it's likely Jolene could just kill him. He probably wouldn't use Weather Report's memory disk to try to get to heaven and all that. So without heaven being a possibility for him, Weather Report canonically could have survived. I got some question marks on that. I do still think he probably would have just died in the final fight. Even if the final fight happens, even if the universe reset does still not happen in this timeline, I do feel like Weather's probably going to die no matter what. It was honestly going to be his time. I feel like he wasn't going to make it past Stone Ocean alive. Even if he didn't die the same way he did in canon, I feel like he would have just died against Made in Heaven in the final fight. Other changes to come out of it. Koichi could potentially ask for help. He could get Josuke involved. If Josuke gets involved, Okuyasu would probably help because he's bros with Josuke. Rohan could help if Koichi asks for him. Maybe Koichi's able to get that help in at the ending. Having more characters around for the final fight could have been interesting. For all we know, if he's still keeping in contact with Giorno, Giorno could somehow make an appearance at the ending. Not a guaranteed, but it's a possibility, granted. Probably not likely, though. But Josuke has a good chance of appearing. Josuke would be very helpful at the ending. Okuyasu would too. Rohan would too. Heck, Rohan could probably prevent the universe reset, seeing how fast he was. Uh, if we're talking about some other changes, maybe Echoes Act 4? Probably not, to be fair. There's really nothing I could think of, to be fair. I just don't see much changing. Maybe final fight wise, if we talk about that, if Koichi's involved with the Sea Moon stuff, it's hard to say what he could do there. I think Echo Sac 3 and Sea Moon could be a fun fight. Made in Heaven versus Koichi. I think having the Stone Ocean group with Koichi would be interesting. If they time it right, Echo's Act 3 freeze could technically do the job. Maybe, like, instead of it being Anasui, Koichi's the one who could come in clutch at the end. And assuming Koichi does get Donut instead of Anasui, Diver Down could just dive and save Jotaro from getting the head injury. Jotaro could get enough time to stop time and save the day. It's hard, though. For all we know, it's hard to say that. I don't know if that all could have happened. Assuming we still go the route where everything they're knocked in the water, Anasui still gets killed, Hermes probably gets killed, Jotaro maybe gets killed. Assuming we go that route, Jolene potentially could make it to the new universe. If Koichi holds him off, or if Koichi has a smart idea. Hard to say if Koichi wouldn't make it to the new universe. Echoes Act 1 and 2 potentially could have helped, but in the long term, I just don't see Koichi making it out. Jolene could make it to the new universe. Maybe get killed before she goes to the Irene one. She probably would never get to meet Irene, granted. It would be an interesting interaction, though. Hard to say what would change. Overall, I don't see a lot of the story changing. I still think the part is the same. Unless Koichi just asks for help. Which, if he asks for help, it depends on how early in the story we get said help. If we get the help quickly in the, like, they're in there in the beginning of the story, then the team's going to win at the end. But if we're going the route where no one, like, if we're going that route where, like, everyone just, and they appear in the final fight, I feel like unless Pucci just kills Rohan in Cape Canaveral, they could win. Assuming we go the route where Rohan just dies, Chosuke could potentially help. He could keep Anasui alive long enough so that Anasui could heal Jotaro from another attack. Hermes could be saved by Okuyasu, maybe. Same with Jotaro. I don't see Okuyasu surviving a final fight Stone Ocean. I just don't really see Okuyasu really surviving any parts. I don't know if it's my hatred toward Okuyasu, or it's just because of the fact that he's too reckless of a stand user. Even if he's a lot smarter and more intelligent, I just don't think he would survive any extra parts. Seeing how the later parts were a lot more gruesome into the death, there's no way Okuyasu would make it any parts. Josuke probably could have made it. Hard to say what overall could have changed. I know Koichi could have helped out a lot. He could have been a great mentor figure. But even then, I'm not going to say he carries the part. It's likely that the story would go really the same. I don't really know what else I can add to this. I guess, like, some fights could have been fun to see Koichi involved in. Maybe he could be the one in Jumping Jack Flash instead, and him using echoes at the end instead. I don't know. There's some possibilities for Koichi to get involved in the story. If it were my opinion, I just think that he would probably be involved for the John Gallier and Pucci fight. He would stay behind with Jotaro, and he would be the one delivering the disc back to Jotaro with echoes instead of Savage Garden. And then I could see him appearing in the final fight. And if he brings help, there'd be no universe reset, probably. But if he goes in alone with Jotaro, universe reset likely happens unless they play their cards right. If they did play their cards right, how could they do it? Well, just have Koichi 3 freeze after Pucci slit Jotaro's throat. And if he could 3 freeze him long enough for someone to try to get a beatdown, like the Jotaro, they could have won. He could have 3 freezed Pucci while he's doing that 2 steps ahead speech to Jotaro. He could have 3 freeze him at any point, which could have worked. He potentially could have put all the attention onto himself instead, so that Anasui could live long enough to keep protecting Jotaro. just so they can still have that good chance of winning. And that's really it I can think of. I feel like Foo Fighters would still die unless Koichi does something very creative or unique with a stand. I think Weather Report's death could be prevented if they get rid of the memory disk a lot quicker. But that's the real overall story. I don't really know what else I can add, and I think that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I did the request justice, but I think I tried my best. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.